You should judge people once you know the full story about them. Okay. I mean, you first of all have to learn his side of the story. Only then you can judge. Like a few days ago, you know about the incident of Mirpur, an older lady died alone in her apartment or maybe in her daughter's apartment, and nobody, uh, nobody, seemingly nobody took care of her in the last few days of her life. And such an incident is quite rare here in Bangladesh, but it is quite common in industrialized. I wouldn't say all industrialist, but it happens quite often in Japan. Uh, but this incident is probably the first one of this type here in Bangladesh, and just within another 1 week, another such incident was heard about from the same region, Mirpur. Now, everyone has been blaming the BUET teacher and also the joint secretary about and the teacher, her daughter, and probably another. Uh, she had another child or a son who lives in Canada. Though she, everyone has been blaming them. Okay, even in some Facebook pages, I have seen that they have posted the picture, image of that BUET teacher and simply blaming him. You know, it definitely deserves some blame, but he also and when the journalist from Prathamalo first called him, he disconnected the call. He wasn't ready to talk to them. But the next day, he called those journalists himself and described his standpoint, his explanation. Okay. Apparently, he made up the story in this in the meantime. So whatever he said was not fully correct and not fully wrong either. They are probably from the region Chandpur, Kumilla, etc. Because that lady, uh, her dead body probably would be buried in Uttar Matlab, Chandpur. So, and from their looks and names, it was evident that they are from Chandpur, Kumilla, etc. These regions. Now, I'm also from the same region. I'm from Chandpur Shodor, so I know about the mentality of these people. And when that person, the teacher says that her, his mom was very suspicious that they could not manage, what should I say, a female caretaker or ayah for her, or maybe some maid, housemaid, because she was very suspicious about strangers and people all the time. So this is, and he termed this thing as schizophrenia. I do not know the variations or different types of schizophrenia, in how many forms it could appear and what might be the symptoms. But I know that yes, if paranoia is a problem, then yeah, it exists among the people from where I am from. From different regions, different sort of people come, and they have different pros and cons. So people of Chandpur, I am not saying about Kumilla, but about Chandpur, they are not aggressive. They will not engage in murder or attempt to murder, this sort of activities, because yes, I have been recently, for the last few months, I have been collecting data where most of violence takes place. Although that list is only private to me and I have not published it on my site or anywhere else. According to my data, most the district which tops the violence list is Brahmanbaria. There are other places like Mamanching and also Lokipur, etc. But Chandpur is far below. So, but this is a pros. I mean, Korea people, they do not engage in violence that often. The cons is that they have more or less, the problem of paranoia. I mean, a cranky head. That thing is more common in the area of those people because they are, like they are not they do not engage in physical activity that much, which is why their health condition is much inferior compared to other people like people from Barishal division, Faridpur division. In comparison to those people, Sanpuria people have a poor health condition, especially many of them suffer from uh, poor heart disease, and some people have short temper. Hmm. They are easily agitated because since they have a weak heart, so sometimes they easily get very angry, and because of the short temper. Even I previously had these problems. I went through rigorous physical exercises in many forms. That's how I made my heart strong. Nowadays, it is very difficult to get me into race. No matter how people choose to irritate me or insult me, I do not get I do not flow into a rage. I do not get very angry, and I do not start shouting. Okay. So I think I claim that I have overcome that cons. But in comparison to people from many parts of the country, Chanpuria people have this problem, which is why sometimes they are more paranoid. So that's why they, there could be a tendency that they are more suspicious. Hmm. Uh, this is the reason why I did not marry in this greater region like Kanpur, Kumilla, Noakhali. I did not marry here because I have found that people from Borishal division, they have a little more broader mind, and they know how to recognize talent. And people from Borishal, they are not racists. That means no matter where you come from, if you have capability and talent, they will value you. Then again, Borishal people, they have some cons. Maybe I will talk about them some other day. Now let's talk about Chanpur. Okay, that older lady who died a few days ago, like that, she was from Chanpur, Uttar Matlab, and because of the locality, she might have those problems. And also, even my mom is like that, kind of paranoid, and they uses their mouth too much. They are always lecturing. I today am recording this video and bringing this thing up because there is some similarity between that boy teacher and me. I am also kind of disconnected from my parents. Yeah, I send them some money every alternate month. Like I send money in the month of May, then I will be sending some money, the fixed amount of money in the month of July. But I do not talk to them because if I, whenever I attempt to talk to her, maybe over the phone or maybe face to face, she has only one thing to say: what I could have become and what I have become. And I have a younger brother who is like 37 years old. I have two younger brothers. One is doing some technical job in Saudi Arabia, and another, the youngest one, he is 8 years junior to me, and he lives with my parents. So that person is unemployed. I invested a lot of money for him for his education. He took all the many courses on hotel management and I mean he took the basic course and also the diploma course. Then he graduated from Royal, the private university, and all this money was invested by me, and also for about 10 to 15 years, almost 10 years at least, I provided one room, entire one big room for him. So for me, the I mean for him, my monthly expenses was like at least 10 to 15,000 taka. I invested all this money for him, but yet he hasn't used his degrees and certificates. He is still unemployed, and he is eating the money that I sent and my other two brothers, my elder brother and my immediate younger brother, sent for them. And because of him, even my father has to work at the age of 72. He's burdened with so many problems like diabetes and other eye problem, but still he has to work. The same technical job, I mean tailoring, isn't there a technical job? My two brothers, elder brother and my just immediate younger brother and my father, they engage in the same profession, tailoring. That means dress, and they are ladies tailors. My father was very good at this profession, but he could not make money because he did not believe in saving, just like me. I did not save until it was 2012. Panjiri, when I joined Panjiri, not joined as a full timer, just as a freelancer, I had to open a bank account to get the payment, and that's when I learned to save money. But my father never learned to save money. That's why he earned a lot of money, but he didn't save anything. He thought he could be investing for us, his sons, and we would be his bank. But when we grew and when we started our own families after marrying, now it is evident that it is very hard to send money for parents. Because take me for example, I was supposed to be an engineer, but even after graduation I became a writer. I earned some money. I did not earn at all, I wouldn't be saying that, but I have already invested most of that to buy lands. I have bought some land for my mother in my home district Chanpur, in Chanpur Sodar area, and I have also bought some other land in Rupganj here, where I have built a little house, like it's kind of a farmhouse type. Uh, it's not it's not a building in that sense. Okay. Now as a writer and editor, I probably have crossed the peak of my career. Hmm. There could be another peak maybe in the upcoming days, but seemingly now I am at rough, very low incoming situations, and sometimes people deceive. They give me promises, but later they don't keep those promises. And when I believe these people, I have to go through a setback many times. In recent days, like when I joined Udvash, the referrer, I mean the person who referred me, Joel Haq Munshi, he said that if I continue working there, I would go to a very high position. I believed him, and Mr. Sagar, Mr. Arif, the mentors, they also took my interview and had conversation with me in such a fashion that I would be able to continue there for indefinite time. I knew there was not any festival bonus in that hourly basis job, but I thought that if I would be earning like 40 to 45,000 taka each month, it would be good for me. I wouldn't need the festival bonuses because it's the total amount of money that I earn over a year. But I was wrong. It was even in the month of after doing that job for 2 or 3 months, I asked my wife whether I would be switching. I would try to switch job. She said no, no need. The thing is that she didn't know about the hourly basis. She thought that it was a permanent job like a 9 a.m., 6 p.m., or 7 p.m. job. So I cannot exactly blame her. And also, I had a hint from Joel Munshi even at the same time that it was I got a yes, a green signal from him that I should be continuing my job there. But when it was the month of April, the situation changed, and they say all of a sudden they started to say that they don't have any further job, any more book that could be edited by me. But during the interview session, when I started working for Udbash, Mr. Sagar said that they had over 400 books, and they had a plan to give me each and every book uh, for the purpose of editing. So when I heard that, I mean 400 books, that's a big number. So it would be definitely a few years to go through all of them. So this is how sometimes people mislead me, and that's why I have to take a setback. And because of this, these things actually, when I plan to earn almost like 40 plus taka per month, but in the month of March, well, yeah, Udbash physics team leader, what is his name, Mr. Dilshad, he actually wasted so much of my time on different occasions. I say he wasted because when they need one single day to transfer from the third floor to the ninth floor, uh, and other people they were instantly invited to work, but he invited me after 3 days. So these 3 days was simply a waste, and also the Eid vacation 10 days. So because of this, I had only 27,000 taka of earning, whereas I planned it to be over 40,000. In the month of March, in April, I tried my best, but on the 27th, they say, bro, we don't have any more work for you at the moment. When we are able to manage more, we shall let you know. That's when I decided to quit Udbash because I knew no matter how hard I would try to work, they would be coming up with so many excuses and tricks which would eventually not allow me to earn much. So, because of this is the reason why recently I have become physically weaker, and my savings they have also I mean, I won't be saying totally depleted, but definitely diminished or damaged a little bit because I had my family expenses. I had to send money to my parents, and also I have an autistic child who is 10 years old, and today is his 10th birth anniversary. And my younger child, who is 3 years old almost, since he doesn't have any more company to keep, and he follows his elder brother, so he's also like semi-autistic. That means he has learned only a few words. He hasn't learned enough to talk. Besides, he is kind of creepy, like he likes to damage things, products. A few days ago, he damaged the infrared cooker. I had to get that fixed, serviced, and that cost me almost 13 to 1400 taka. Today, he, he just emptied half of the powder, the prickly heat powder. That means if a bottle is 60 taka, and if the half is emptied or used for to spray maybe on the bed sheet, see 30 taka already gone. So this way, these two boys of mine, they cost me monetary loss of at least 5,000 taka per month. In some months, it is even 8 to 10,000 taka. So this is the situation and condition I have to go through. That's why I cannot send much money to my parents. Previously, when especially in the Panjari days, I earned enough money. Sometimes back in 2012, 20 sorry not 2012, 20 in the year 2012 when I joined Panjiri, the first few months my earning was very low. But after that, during starting from the test paper season, continuing through 2013, 2014, 2015, I earned a lot of money. And in the year 2016, I earned some money. I won't be saying little, but more, some much, not much, but some money through YouTubing, because in that year many people earned through YouTubing, and it was very easy because whatever content you upload on YouTube, it would get you a lot of money. So, but back in 2017, okay, YouTube changed their rules. So, starting from that year, actually, I had very little amount to earn. Even for a few months or a year, I was unemployed because because of the office politics in Panjiri. When I started earning through YouTubing, I left Panjiri because I thought I do not have to go through this sort of politics because they do not value my talent. Instead of evaluating my talent and my capability, they focus on false allegations like monetary corruptions, imaginary monetary corruptions, um, which I talked about in recent another video. Okay, so uh, I returned to Panjari at some point back in 2019, and for 2 years and 2 months, I was a regular job holder from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. With I wouldn't say much, but it was enough for me, like 50,000 taka or 54,000 taka possibly. So in those days, 2019, 2020, and 2021, it was okay. But due to the COVID-19 situation, they had to let me go, saying that bro or Mr. Zakir, you can come back once the situation improves. But they never got me back again because of the office politics things. There were haters. Some people, I even got into a feud with the director from Panjari. So because of him, I couldn't return. And after that, I joined Navadut. The payment was a little bit lower, but the problem was that they relied mainly on national university people who hardly understood maths, and they copied a lot of things from other publications like Adil Brothers and lecture publications. And while they copied it, they didn't know that they were copying wrong concepts. And when there were some things they solved themselves, but they solved in the wrong fashion. uh, and for those problems their solution was totally different from other publications. While other publications got it right, but they got it wrong, and they didn't understand why they got it wrong. Like, let's say in the Rajshahi Board 2019 and Dhaka Board 2020 SSC exam, there was a question of secure that for a parallelogram, the adjacent two sides were 20 centimeter and 12 centimeter. If one diagonal is 28 centimeter, what is the other? So the Navadut people, hmm, basically Sohail Rana from who graduated from Rajshahi College, uh, and Obaidul Haq, who graduated from Chapayanababganj something college. So these National University people, they solved it in this way. They took that 28 centimeter was the length of the smaller diagonal, and after the calculation they found the other diagonal as 28 centimeter. So according to them, both the diagonals are of the same length. Other publications got it right because they knew that actually 28 centimeter has to be the length of the greater diagonal, not the smaller one. Because if you apply Pythagoras, you find that if it was a rectangle instead of a common parallelogram, that both the diagonals should be 23.5 centimeter. Since 28 is greater than 23.5, so naturally it has to be the greater diagonal. But they got it wrong, the Navadut people, and they never even I gave the explanation why it was wrong, but they didn't accept it. And the authority, they understood mainly English contents. So, and also they had some teachers from like Rajak Akondo from Bikarunasa school, and also Abdul Samad from Dhaka College JD school. But still I mean they sent files to these teachers because, but still the wrongfully solved problems, the wrong solutions were still there. I guess they simply sent the files, but those teachers didn't have time to go through. They just put some tick mark uh, and signed their name on the first page of the file and sent it back. That's why those wrong solutions were still there. So I had a feud with those people, especially when Suel Rana left, and also another person from Bogura Azizul Haq College. Something Reza, Shumon Reza, he also left for lecture publications. So only Obaidul Haq left, and authority put him in the charge, the I mean as the head of the math department, and he was not inclined to accept this. Uh, he did not. He never admitted that this solution, particular the parallelogram problem solution and some other things, they were done in wrong way. When feedback came from the students and teachers from different schools, sometimes they would get this corrected from me over and over. Like firstly I did the correction back in 2023, then I did in 2024, uh, and also in 2025. Means each and every year I had to give the corrections, but they would often challenge me like, did you really give the solution, give the correction? Like, so that's why I had a feud with them, and they had a propaganda against me, like I was weak in mathematics, I was not strong enough as a Boetian, and they claimed that they knew more mathematics than I do. So, and because of this all office politics, they got me out. I mean, report after report, report after report, propaganda after propaganda. And the authority, they only looked at the face. They thought, like Sunil Kumar Thor, the director of Panjiri, when he took my interview back in on the 2nd February, uh, or maybe the 31st January of 2012, he also asked me the same questions. He saw at my face, the broken face, and he thought, at the point he threw a question at me: are you now capable of working as a writer and editor? Like were under an impression, and many people, even the recent company, another publications, not a big one, a small one, the middle size or a small one, but I can take it to a great level because I have that capability. Okay. They also in the interview, they also were suspicious upon looking at my face whether I was sane and whether I would be able to work properly. So whenever people look at my face, they judge me. Okay. So I just maybe completely shifted the topic. Okay, listen. So this is why these are the reasons I earn very low. That I am not able to send much money to my parents, and my mouth. She has a big mouth. My mom, she has a big mouth. She often lectures me like what I could have become, and what I have become, and he all the time reminds me of my past, like what mistakes I did, and also about that younger brother. He is still unemployed today, to this day, and he eats the money I sent and my other two brothers sent. So this is a miserable condition, and also my parents are very ineffective as parents to raise their children. Some of you will be saying that if they were ineffective, then how could I become an engineer? I could have become something greater if they were efficient or if they were sane. But since they were insane, they even created many problems during my student life. I had to go through mental pressure and mental anguish from both sides, from my family also and from the campus. Okay, that's why my student life at BUET collapsed. Okay, so this is the reason I do not talk to my parents anymore. Okay, because what is the use if I would be calling her how to know how she is? She would be simply lecturing me, cursing me. That's why I simply send the money like every alternate month. That's all. So it is not always easy to keep good relation with parents. Maybe that good teacher, he also maybe had the same situation. See, I do not see my parents for the last 5 or 6 years. The last time I saw my mom was back in 15th January 2021, and it has been longer than 5 years I have not seen her. And as for my father, it is even longer. Last time I saw him was back in the maybe August or September in the month of August or September in the year of 2020. And that about that younger brother, the same. Now listen, actually. So for the in 2021, I talked with my mom, but she had only one thing to say: Why aren't you coming? Why aren't you coming? When I lost my job at Panjiri, I knew I wouldn't be able to send them much money as they expected. So that's when I stopped talking to them. But kept sending money the amount I could afford. That's all. So even if you want, even if you try your best, you cannot possibly keep good relations and healthy relations with some people, even if they are from your family. Maybe it was the same thing for that good teacher. But to die in a secluded apartment where nobody notices, it's the whole different thing. At least my younger brother was there, the one who is unemployed. He is there to look after my mom because my mom and parents, I would be saying they were more attentive to that brother of ours than towards us. So it is now up to him to look after our parents because he got much more attention and care than we received. So it is now up to him to take the. And also another point is that that brother is very much attacking, always attacking mood. Like he blames us for everything that happened in his life, why he had to give the intermediate exam twice. Actually, it is like I mentioned, paranoia. My mom was also paranoid because he thought that this child of theirs, he could also become an engineer or doctor or big shot like me. Someone who hardly reads, hardly has attention towards the textbook. How can the parents expect that they would become a big shot? First of all, to become an engineer or doctor or, or a professor, you got to love your books. You got to learn things from the books, right? But if you are more attentive to the television and about the neighbors than your books, then how can you possibly be that? My mom believed that he could handle, science, so he took science when he was a class 9 student. But I could not, as they expected, my parents and my brother, they expected that I would be able to teaching him. But I am from batch 99, so in our time, the syllabus changed. Like yeah, if you consider SSC, I was a 97 SSC batch from, and I was a class 9 student back in 95. And from the year 1996, they had a entirely new syllabus. So I was not familiar with that syllabus. That's why it was very difficult for me to conduct tuitions. So the same thing was applicable for my younger brother. Whenever I took his books, I found that way too difficult, and also he was unattentive. But he would talk to me on trivial things. He would like to gossip with me instead of putting attention to the books. Every time I tried to turn his attention toward the book, toward the exercise book, he would simply gossip about this thing and that, what happened in the neighborhood, what I was planning in the future. It was not supposed to be his concern, right? So this is how he destroyed, and also because of the luck, that thing. If I and he were from the same syllabus, then I would easily be able to teach him. But it was the teaching thing. Teaching was very difficult for me because of these two reasons. Number one, we are from the different syllabus. Number two is that he had hardly had any attention to study. So in the SSC exam, he passed in one shot, but in the HSC, he had to give twice or thrice. After that, he graduated, and he first took a normal 3 months course, basic course on hotel management and hospitality, etc. from Bangladesh Portoton Corporation. Then he had a diploma. I was the provider for all those expenses. After completing the diploma for about 2 years, he was interested to pursue a formal graduation. So he took admission into Royal University, whose campus were at Ponani. Royal University, the are from the authority of Premier Bank, and that like Mr. Iqbal Mahmood something, the former MP of Awami League. So I also provided the expenses for all those years, the laptop, the printer, and daily expenses, the semester fee, the pocket money, and other things like food and shelter, room, etc. So he was like a white elephant to me, and I met all those expenses for him. I nurtured him for almost 10 years, and after that, what was the outcome? He chose to remain unemployed because since to graduate from a institute like Royal University, it was more than easier than a piece of cake. So in the night, he would keep himself awake, listening to music and playing games in the computer. That was and also to sleep um, during the daytime, to wake up from bed at like 12 p.m. or 2 p.m. was his regular activities. This is how he destroyed his, I mean, uh, the prime of his life. Where he was supposed to work, he simply wasted that time. Now he is 37 or 8 years old and he is still unemployed. So this is the reason also my mom and my father, they hardly can face him on these things because he is very much attacking. Whenever he is confronted, he becomes angry and he is abusive physically. I got beaten by him. Every relative of mine, they got some beating from him. Even my parents on a number of occasions. So it is difficult for me to go near him. That's why I have been obliged, bound to stop seeing my parents. Partly because I cannot see them because of his presence, partly because I am not happy with them because they never listened to me. When I left their home to live separately with my wife and children, at that time I had only one child, like the autistic boy I talked about. I had a room emptied. I told them to let the room on rent so that they could have some money like 5 to 6,000 taka every month, but they wouldn't do that. They said Allah gave mouth, so Allah would take care of them. But now that I am unable to send them enough money, who is taking care of them? They are not blaming Allah for that, they are blaming me and my other brothers. I do not know about my other brothers, like who one live in Saudi Arabia, another live in Dubai. They earn much, but they actually targets me like how much money I send. So they have a policy like they have to send less money than me. Their reason is that I got the opportunity to study and become an engineer, but they didn't study much. Look, they were unable to study much because my elder brother he chose to close his study when he got to intermediate level. He was angry with my mom with on issue, and he just tried to blackmail mom, like if you don't do that, then I would quit studying. But my mom, he did not. He was not. She did not agree to that. I wouldn't be saying. I wouldn't disclose everything. I wouldn't be saying which party was correct and which party was rightful, wrongful. I won't be saying about this thing. But my elder brother quit his study when he was a student of intermediate first year, trying to blackmail my mom. And my immediate younger brother, he read only up to class 6. He failed in 2 subjects in the final exam of class 6, the math, English, and possibly the religion. And that's when my parents decided that they didn't need every one of their children to be much educated. So he was transferred to the job that my father did, tailoring. So that's it. So my point is that it is not always easy to keep good relations with the relatives and the closed ones from your family, even if you take your best shot. Sometimes destiny does not allow this. So I'm also not on good terms with my parents. I do not see them for the last few years, but at least I have. There wouldn't be such a situation that my mom or my father will be dying alone. No. Although my father still works to this day, probably in Center Point Concord, beside the Mochak Market at Malibag area. But he goes to see my, bhabhi, the sister-in-law, who is the wife of my elder brother, and she has one female child who is 11 years old. So since my father goes to see them, maybe I guess almost every day. So there, and also my father has definitely phone contact with my mother and also with probably with my younger brother. So there won't be such a situation that although my father lives in a mess. See, I cannot keep him because I live in Rupganj, which is like 30 to 35 kilometers away from Muchak market. And also, I'm not bound to take care of my parents because when my wife was expecting her first baby, what my mom said, she said that I won't be able to take care for anybody's child. But she definitely took care of my elder brother's daughter, and they became the apple of my parents, the grandchild. But for my son, for my first baby, my mom directly said that she won't be able because my wife was a teacher of a school, and my mom thought that actually she would, after the birth of this baby, she would still continue the job as a teacher, and the baby will be left at my mom. So she was afraid, and she directly said that I won't be responsible for anyone's child. I won't be able to raise them. So she said that pointing to my future child who was still in his mother's womb. So that's why I said that I am not responsible. I won't be able to when they will be like very physically broke or unable to walk or move. I don't have the responsibility to physically take care of them. I'm only obliged to send money because they didn't do anything for my children because of the presence of grandparents. I mean, due to the absence of grandparents and other people, my eldest child has been autistic because he didn't have any company to keep. So he was for many days. It was only me and my elder child. Since he did not see anyone other than his mom, and he only got to spend that time watching television, and that's how gradually he became autistic. So that's why I am not responsible when my parents uh, will be unable to walk. I mean, on logically, but I am not that inhuman. If my youngest brother, who is unemployed, if he uh, goes somewhere else, I mean, if he is not able to take care of my parents, then I will definitely get them here on my home because my other two brothers they live abroad, so I am not that inhuman. Then again, sometimes it is very difficult to maintain a good relation with relatives, even with people from your own family. So that's why I said that, guys, please, first, if you want to judge anyone, first get to know about them in details, get to know his side of the story, the full story. Only then go ahead to judge them.